Now at 6, researchers putting a face to the remains buried at the Dozier School for Boys in Jackson County. In February, researchers with the University of South Florida found 55 bodies buried at the infamous reform school. That is 24 more than what's on school records. Now some believe more remains will be found. Preston Rudy explains.
To date, all of the bodies USF researchers have uncovered at Dozier have been located near Boot Hill. But during a briefing today, Senator Bill Nelson said given the school's 111-year history, work in other areas of the Dozier property could unearth more startling discoveries.
I think eventually they're going to find another cemetery, because back then they did not bury the two races together. And so no telling what stories are going to unfold.
Dozier covers some 1,400 acres. And while USF researchers have used ground-penetrating radar and even cadaver dogs, the search for additional bodies is challenging.
When you're looking for skeletal remains of children from years ago, I mean, you could be next to it and miss it.
Based on skeletal remains already uncovered, USF researchers today also released this sketch of what one of the boys they've exhumed likely looked like. Plus, officials didn't rule out the possibility of asking for another permit to continue working at Dozier past August.
Now, officials are still looking for more relatives of 36 boys known to have died at the school. They want to track down family members for DNA testing so they can help positively identify some of the remains. Georgia Governor Nathan Deal will be in Valdosta later today to sign into law several pieces of legislation. Deal is going to be signing House Bill 998, expanding access to Georgia's medical school scholarship program. He's also going to be signing into law in Valdosta Senate Bill 273, which creates a new review board to examine the issue of maternal mortality. Governor Deal is also scheduled to be in Cordell and Albany today, where he's going to be signing one bill reforming Georgia's community service boards and another bill related to the Flint River Drought Protection Act. The federal government has given Georgia a hard deadline to fix issues with the state's food stamp system or risk losing millions in federal dollars. Now, the problem is the U.S. Department of Agriculture says Georgia right now has more than 3,000 applications from people needing food stamp benefits. That number of outstanding applications violates federal rules. The federal government subsidizes food stamps and splits the program's administrative costs with the state. Well, the federal government is now threatening Georgia to hold back nearly $15 million unless the state can fix the problems by May 14th. Well, going to college in the Peach State could soon become a little more expensive. That's because the university system of Georgia is now considering an across-the-board tuition hike. Now, the state's largest universities would see the biggest increase. For example, students at University of Georgia would pay $280 more per semester. Those at Georgia Tech would pay $370 more. Now, all other campuses would see about a 2.5% rate increase if the plan is approved. In North Florida, the Hamilton County School Board now moving forward with plans to shut down 3 area elementary schools. The board has now voted 4-1 this week to shut down North, South, and Central Hamilton County elementary schools and consolidate them inside of a new single building in Jasper. Our media partners at Swanee Democrats say the new building would be large enough to hold all elementary students in the county. The board is following the same recommendations they were given by the Florida Department of Education. The total cost of the project would be about $25 million. The local school board would be responsible for about $3.4 million of that. The state would pick up the remaining $21.1 million tab. Other news here this morning, police say they're investigating several leads from a shooting at the Hutto McGyver apartments in Bainbridge last Wednesday. Bainbridge police officers tell us when they were called out here, they found one guy that had been shot. He was bleeding. Now, officers say they also found drugs, ammunition, and a .38 caliber gun. Investigators are not confirming any motives in the case, but they are asking anyone with any information to give them a call at 229-243-2611. 2147. Meanwhile, police in Tifton, Georgia, looking for this man who they are calling a danger to society. Tifton police officers say Demario Carradine is wanted for a shooting that happened on March 28th in the area of Elm Street and Bellevue Avenue. He's also known to have ties to Lowndes and Tift County areas. If you have happened to see him or know where he is, you're being urged to call 911 or local law enforcement. Well, 2 stand-ins are going to be helping to finish the latest Fast and Furious movies, and they're sharing some DNA with the late Paul Walker. And a growing trend across the country continues as another restaurant server is accused of calling someone a rude name on their receipt.